Miami of Ohio out of the MAC, and the Tennessee Lady Vols, the number 7 overall seed in the tournament. Hey folks, let's introduce you to Carlin Pickens, back-to-back SEC Pitcher of the Year, top 10 National Player of the Year finalist. You talked about that fastest pitch ever in softball history, straight gas, like tons of heat from this flamethrower.
78.2 miles an hour, broke that NCAA record against Arkansas back in March.
And the junior out of Weaverville, North Carolina, readies to throw the first pitch of the 2025 regional here from Knoxville, and it's fouled off as we introduce you to the Red Hawks starting lineups, brought to you by Capital One. And we mentioned Chloe Brooks in the open and how important she has been, Chloe Parks, excuse me, for this program. 21 doubles on the season. Again, experiencing her best in a Red Hawks uniform.
Looks like that one was off the foot of Shelby Kunkel.
Shelby Kunkel, the right fielder, senior out of Rapids, Michigan, sits down. First batter retired. Carlin Pickens catches her looking.
Took 3 pitches. I mean, this is the efficiency and the command of one of the best arms in the nation. She's got speed. She's got movement. I think the unsung hero is the changeup. I wonder how much or how often we're going to see that pitch this early in the tournament.
She's got a variety of pitches that she can throw. Obviously, you know her for the velocity, but Kaylee O, the sophomore, standing in, looking to try to figure out Pickens early, try to pass some information on, but first 5 pitches out of the hands of Carlin Pickens, they've all been strikes.
Some speed with Kaylee O, 17 stolen bases on the year, hence top of the order, a table setter for this group.
That's ball 1. And we talk about Kaylee O, the sophomore out of the state of California, transferred in from Oregon State from a season ago. And again, looking. That's what Carlin Pickens does. She can register the strikeouts left and right. She's got back-to-back to start things off.
Inside part of the plate, I mean, you're already starting to see Carlin Pickens work both sides of this strike zone. Miami of Ohio just caught on the heels right now. You got to know what you're stepping into against an arm like this, right? This isn't rocket science. The scout's out. This is a highly sought-after arm. You know you're going to step into an environment and get challenged with speed. She's going to attack the strike zone early and often.
And so what's important early on for Red Hawks batters to do in their first time around in the lineup with Pickens?
Well, you see a swing there finally from Chloe Parks. Notice how long sweeping through the zone that swing is. You don't have the ability to have a long path to a ball against an arm like Carlin Pickens. It's got to be short. It's got to be compact. If it were me in the box right now, I'd maybe choke up on that bat maybe an inch lower in the stance. I mean, I would be getting as athletic and as short to the ball as I possibly could.
The pitch to the MAC tournament MVP. She takes that high for ball 3. Full count now. Parks coming off last weekend. Had 8 RBI, hit for better than 400 last weekend. And 3 straight strikeouts to start things off. And she struck out the side for the Red Hawks, and she has pitched a number of innings, in fact, the most in the country, and tied for second most in complete games. I mean, they have been able to ride this arm, and Reeves is going to have a standout performance this afternoon.
And a workhorse for this team in the circle. Thrown the majority of the innings for the Red Hawks.
And let's check out Tennessee's starting lineup brought to you by Capital One and Taylor Panel, who is an all first team SEC selection this season, 10th best in the conference in batting average. She, along with McKenna Boo Gibson, among the offensive leaders for the Lady Vols, as that one sails high with the sophomore Reeves' hand.
And Madeline Reeves in this circle, tied for second in the country in complete games, has thrown 25 complete games this season for Miami of Ohio.
And it's been impressive for the sophomore out of Yorkville, Illinois, following up on that freshman pitcher of the year out of the MAC a season ago. 23 wins in this 2025 campaign as Kenzie Fiedler takes that high for ball 3, the sophomore out of Lee's Summit, Missouri. And one of a handful of batters for this Tennessee lineup at better than 300 in batting average. And she takes all the way, 4 straight balls and the leadoff walk to Fiedler.
It's 119th walk of the season. Madeline Reeves. 4 straight pitches, high heat up in the zone. To me, this is just a matter of Reeves trying to settle in, calm down the body. There's a lot of adrenaline pumping through the blood right now. But what she told us is that this season she's got a short-term memory. She's able to bounce and move on, take the feedback, make some adjustments in game.
And gets a strike in there to Savia Morgan.
I would say that's an adjustment. 4 straight balls and finds a strike zone.
That one high to the left fielder for ball 1. Redhawks making their 5th straight regional appearance. Back-to-back seasons here in Knoxville. Reeves had experience with the Redhawks before, and now she's been called upon even more by her new head coach, Mandy Gardner-Colgate. Lays down the bunt, does Savia Morgan, and does her job. Sack bunt, advances Fiedler to second base. She's in scoring position and 1 down.
Yeah, a massive leadoff, rounding second base. Fiedler trying to read where that ball is. A close play at second. Hey, you got to tip your cap to Tennessee. Some fundamental softball early. Cannot underscore enough how important the sacrifice bunt is all year long, but especially on this stage. It is the little details that will make and break a regional championship.
This is a Tennessee team with 40 wins on the season, finished 4th in the SEC. Sluggish close to the season, going 3 of 5 in the last 8 games. So when we talked with Karen Weekly and Taylor Panel this week, you know, they were encouraged by the close of that Ole Miss series, one of the last 2 in conference play, and the way their offense was able to click.
That was an off-speed pitch out of the hand of Reeves, 50 miles an hour compared to her mid-60s rise ball. She told us she's got 2 pitches. I mean, she was quick to admit it. I've got 2 pitches that I'm going to absolutely own. I'm going to hammer you up in the eyes, and I'm going to pull the string.
And Panel, a weak grounder over to third base. Fiedler stays put, and now 2 down. Madeline Reeves, who talked about that rise, that change that she likes to throw. And she said, hey, one of the great indicators to let you know that I'm settling in and getting comfortable is I like to strut around in the circle. And right now she's got a runner on second base, Sophia Nugent, the senior catcher, up to the plate. She's trying to make sure the Lady Vols don't push a run across.
It's not only the speed differential, but it's where those two pitches land in the strike zone. You got a hard rise ball that's up in the eyes, and then a devastating changeup, 15-mile-an-hour difference that falls off the table right at the knees.
Nugent skies this one into left field, and Kaleo is underneath it. Tennessee leaves a runner on base. It's still scoreless after one. Regionals in a row. And you know, a player who's been here before, Carlin Pickens, and you said it at the end of the top half of the first, she made a statement to start things off in this game.
Yeah, struck out the side. Two looking, one swinging. Here's the off-speed low, 59 miles an hour. I mean, that in and of itself is a lot of people's fastball speed throughout the nation. But when you've got an arm that can hum it up to 78 miles an hour, the off-speed pitch makes that speed even more devastating.
1 ball and 2 strikes to the All-MAC second team catcher, McKenna Campbell. Well, among the toughness of Carlin Pickens, you can underscore it in a number of different ways. No earned runs in the last 26 2/3 innings. Pitch coming into this second inning, getting a piece of that one to stay alive is Campbell.
Too, even the evolution of Carlin Pickens in the Circle 2023, that fastball just establishing speed, good old work ethic per Karen Weekly, that was the focus for her in year 1, was establishing the fastball, and that was her most used pitch. 2024 pivoted to the drop ball. She started to hammer at the knees, move the ball off the table, and now this season as a junior, 2025, has really leaned into the rise. She's challenged up in the zone, and having a chance to chat with her before this weekend, she said, my goal is to love my pitches equally. I want to love my changeup as much as my fastball, and I want to love my rise ball as much as my drop ball. The speed is really one aspect of the talent of this junior.
Full count to Campbell. She fouls it off. And finishing on with that conversation, you know, Pickens gave a lot of credit to her pitching coach, Megan Rhodes Smith, for just allowing her to have that full trust that she's going to guide her in the right direction. I mean, they've nailed down the speed of the pitches, but changing things up. And how about after striking out the side to start the ball game, starts the second inning with a leadoff walk to Campbell.
First baseman, number 87,
It's her 26th walk of the season. And a big one. I mean, to go 6 pitches deep to find her way on early in this second inning.
A sophomore transfer from Indiana, Ella Carter, now at the plate. And the first base hit given up off the bat of Ella Carter. So 2 runners on, no outs to start here in the top second.
See the split grip of Ella Carter. I mean, to me, and we'll get to see as this weekend unfolds if that is a classic grip for Carter, but that's also been known in our sport to shorten the barrel to the ball. That would be my approach against an arm like Carlin Pickens. Shorten the swing, punch the ball through the zone. Pickens is supplying the power, Tiff, right? All you got to do is find contact, ball's going to fly.
I love that, because how do you hit a power pitcher like Carlin Pickens and you let her do a lot of the work giving that power?
You said it best. Let that pitch do its thing. I think a lot of hitters think they have to swing harder, faster, facing speed. Sometimes that's really not the case. The best approach is really to take the pressure off yourself and think about just getting the barrel to the ball.
Well, now a trip to the circle from Megan Rhodes-Smith here with 2 Red Hawks on, and they're going to have a conversation because you've got Jenna Golumbowski at the plate, the home run leader out of the MAC. And you think about, okay, well, how do you have such great trust in your pitching coach? Oh, yeah, because Megan Rhodes-Smith has coached 3 All-Americans the last 3 seasons. Carlin Pickens, Peyton Gottschall last year, and how about Ashley Rogers back in 2023?
It's a pretty good track record.
Oh, fantastic.
You mentioned it, Jenna Golumbowski at the plate, 19 home runs on the season. I got to imagine that's a little bit of that meeting in the pitching circle was a check-in, both with Nugent and Pickens, to know who was stepping into the box here in this situation. There's 2 on and no out. We're early in this ball game. If there's anybody from Miami of Ohio that you want at the plate, it's Jenna.
All-American season in her junior campaign, and now the senior tries to deliver here up the middle, and they decide to hold McKenna Campbell at third. So bases loaded, no outs here, top second for Miami of Ohio. Well, this group out of Oxford, Ohio says they came in with a chip on their shoulder after that MAC tournament. Right now, they are threatening.
Yeah, talking to head coach Mandy Gardner-Colgate, I asked her to define this offense, and she was very quick to answer. We are gritty. We find ways to win. We are never out of a game, regardless of the situation, and we know how to produce with our backs against the wall. Well, right now, it's a wide open road ahead. Bases juice, no outs on the board for a team that really has played their best ball with 2 outs on the board.
With Holly Merritt at the plate, it's an excellent point that you bring up because it was a badge of honor for the MAC Co-Coach of the Year in Gardner-Colgate. Hey, look, we got 39% of our offense scoring runs with 2 outs this season.
They seem to be a team that builds off momentum. Again, talking to Coach Gardner-Colgate, standing there in the dugout watching her team string together a really big inning here, that they pass the bat. When one person hits, they all seem to catch fire.
Out in front of that one, and Holly Merritt is the first out of the inning.
It's the 4th K of the game for Carlin Pickens, figuring out a way, goes low. I mean, this is a competitive location, ball way out of the zone, but it's enough to get the bite of Holly Merritt. It's a great pitcher's location.
Here's Erin Pinter, who's got 20 RBI on the season. She's got to try to find a way to bring her teammates home. This inning started off with a leadoff walk to McKenna Campbell, then back-to-back singles from Carter and Golumbowski to load the bases. Pinter right back to Pickens, makes the force play at home. How about the double play? 1, 2, 3 to get out of the jam. National champion, Texas A&M, the #1 overall seed in this year's tournament. It's up for grabs, a ton of parity in this year's tournament. Back here at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium, Aaron Miller, Tiffany Green here with you. #7 overall seed Tennessee starts things off here in the bottom of the 2nd of our scoreless game. Opening game of the regional round. McKenna Boo Gibson leads things off. The question mark of just how good is that Texas A&M team. The Aggies are primo. They've got dominant pitching in Emily Kennedy, and Tennessee learned about that in their last regular season finale.
It was a run rule victory. 5 innings played against Tennessee. And it wasn't just a win, it was a statement for the Aggies.
Luke Gibson, an excellent two-strike hitter, and belts this one into left field off the scoreboard. Solo shot to put the Lady Vols on the board first. Well, just as I was saying, she's excellent with two strikes. She proves me right immediately with that swing and blast.
Tiffany, this is a senior that was missing 2 weeks of her season earlier this year with an upper body injury, patient with her recovery, patient with the mental approach to be in it for the long haul this year. So calm at the plate, so steady, both physically, mentally, and you just see the confidence now early in this game coming from a veteran leader in the squad.
In talking with Karen Weekly just about how she felt about this team coming into regional, she said, hey, look, I feel very good about where we are. I've seen a lot of good signs the last several games despite some of the outcomes, and I think we're going to have our best offensive effort this weekend. Lauren Mueller, who joined the program last season after starting her career at Middle Tennessee State, and the starting senior shortstop now with the ball, 2 balls and a strike.
I think that movement over to Tennessee too has been a huge transition for her. I mean, Karen Weekly saying that first year at Tennessee, biggest obstacle for her was to believe that she could do it, believe that she had the talent to play here. Well, guess what? This season as a senior, that is no longer an obstacle. One of the only 2 players in this program's history to hit 3 bombs in a game has just stepped up to the plate, pun intended, in more ways than one, and working her way on here in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
Sharply hits that one past the third baseman, so it's now Emma Clark's turn. The DP and the Lady Vols line up. Sees strike 1.
Madeline Reeves peppering a little bit more off speed in the circle. I think this is part of that chess match between pitchers and offense, where inning to inning you're going to see a little bit different pitch sequences, different approach. Back-to-back changeups. I mean, we saw Reeves really struggling to find the strike zone with that rise ball.
The 0-2 count to Emma Clark. She waits on that off-speed offering, fouls to stay alive.
And now in the 2nd inning, Reeves just, I think, trying to beat or disrupt the timing of Tennessee with the off-speed pitch. I have a feeling we're going to see a different look from Reeves every inning, even only 2 pitches in the tool belt.
With this approach from Tennessee and the way that, you know, they were able to find success already to start off the 2nd inning, Karen Weekly talked about PTK, punch to kill, right? And the way that they've come out swinging here in this 2nd inning, and that one roped down the third baseline from Clark, goes into the corner. Weekly calling Gibson home, or rather Mueller home. And a 1-out RBI double from Emma Clark. And it's 2-0 Tennessee.
Talk about Emma Clark stepping up in a big moment here. That's her 9th RBI of the season. Really has only started the last 24 games rather, playing in 34 and getting the call here in the postseason run and starting to chip away at some insurance run. That is a huge at-bat from Emma Clark.
Miami of Ohio is challenging the ruling of a fair ball.
So you get 2 challenges at Miami of Ohio, spending 1 here of whether the ball was fair or foul down that third base line. Aaron Peterson, Carlos Guzman, Jerry Jones, and Heath Walker, our umpire crew for this afternoon. They're going to review it back up in the Brain Trust in Pittsburgh, and we'll get another look here as to where the ball lands, and it appears to be clearly in fair territory.
Yeah, no contact made with the glove of Pinter at third base, and you can see exactly where it strikes that dirt just over third base, and that's pretty clear to me. You know, I gotta go back to Emma Clark. I mean, this is one of only 3 freshmen in this starting order, a very veteran lineup, senior heavy. Mentioned starting the last 24 games, has played in 34 compared to the 54 games this team has played this season. I mean, getting this opportunity at this level, you just cannot top the experience right now in those moments for Emma Clark.
The call on the field of fair ball is upheld. Miami, Ohio's first challenge.
So a quick review there. A very clear and decisive call that the ball was fair.
An interesting place to use a challenge. I think we've got a lot of ball game left. It's only a 2-run game too. I don't know that I would have used that challenge in that situation.
Gabby Leach stands in now. That Leach name lingers around Rocky Top as she is a part of a great family tradition. Her twin sister, Alana Leach, on the team with her. Before her, Aubrey and Kelsey played here at Tennessee as well. So the legacy lives on through the Leach fam, as it's just cool to see all of the different ties and connections, and sometimes you're just part of a sport family, and that's certainly the case. Now, we've got a meeting in the circle, and they're checking on Madeline Reeves. Get a temperature check right now. You've given up 2 runs. Runner in scoring position.
To me, the message I would be sending Madeline Reeves is that you have to attack these next 2 hitters. Sophomore Gabby Leach at the plate, freshman Ella Dodge on deck, and then this lineup is turning over to some seniors, some of the hottest bats in this order, but really attacking these next 2 bats, so important right now for Madeline Reeves.
She looks to settle in here. 2 balls and no strikes to Gabby Leach. The pitch outside for ball 3.
That's the screwball. That is a pitch that she was hesitant to even admit that she had in the arsenal. I don't know that it's a pitch she quite feels confident enough in yet, but one that she has. And even talking to Mandy Gardner-Colgate, who you saw step out there, head coach, but also kind of owns that bullpen, oversees this pitching staff, said, you know, that's a pitch we can go to if we need to go to it, but really her bread and butter is the rise ball and the changeup.
The former pitcher herself looks on as Ella Dodge lays down the sacrifice. Close play at first, but she does her job. Sack bunt moves now runners over to second and third, and just 1 out.
I mean, you got to celebrate this if you're the Vols. A freshman that's stepping at the plate, a less than 2-out opportunity, and you're selfless. You get that call to lay down a sacrifice bunt, to move your teammates another 60 feet, and furthermore, turn this lineup over to Kinsey Fiedler.
First pitch swing in and fouls it away, but this is what Karen Weekly was talking about in terms of their offensive ability, and they've come out swinging here in the bottom half of the second. And to prove it, they've got the boxing gloves, right? We're talking about throwing the first punch. Karen Weekly talked about how they've got a pair of boxing gloves in the dugout.
Yeah, punch to kill.
Yep.
or keep throwing punches. I mean, that's been a statement that this program has really clung to. They've got those boxing gloves, a custom order, might I add.
Yeah, there they are.
A custom order. You can see the embroidery. Oh, yeah, fancy. But they want to win with a statement this year, and that requires throwing hard punches.
You talk about the importance of trying to win the opening game of a regional, as that one is hit hard but foul.
You know that saying, punch to kill. I mean, Karen Weekly even drew that back to alumni. Manners Posley, that played from 05 to 08 and grew up in a rough neighborhood outside of Los Angeles, California, and said she literally would get in fights growing up. And she said, I'll never forget her telling me stories that the person that wins those fights is the one that keeps punching. And she said, as a head coach, as a young coach back then, that story, those statements from our alumni, specifically from Manners Posey, I never forgot it. Everything you do needs to go for that kill shot. No warning shots in this group. We want to go for a massive statement. We want to win big.
And I love that, because you're in a double elimination weekend, but it's win or go home. So your season depends on it. And if you come out swinging first, you know, you've got the advantage. But they've also been able to have themselves on the ropes and punch themselves out. And right now, they have come out swinging here. And Karen Weekly wants to see more of that, but it's Reeves who retires. Kinsley Fiedler with the strikeout and the second out of the inning.
First strikeout of the day for Madeline Reeves. This has to feel like a collective exhale for her in the circle. You got two runners in scoring position. She's been trying to establish that strike zone now for almost 2 complete innings and has struggled.
Savia Morgan, who laid down the sac bunt last inning. And when you watch her, she can rope balls all throughout, especially in practice. They've talked about the way that they've loved the growth of this freshman out of Columbia, Tennessee. She's continuing to evolve and has been swinging away more as of late, but she stands in now with a ball and 2 strikes.
And a really good changeup out of the hand of Reeves. I mean, that's going to have to be a pitch that Tennessee will need to develop an answer for. That pitch just continues to get better as this game goes on.
And out in front, and back-to-back strikeouts for Reeves, but not before the Lady Vols put up. Going against one of the best pitchers in the country, but how encouraged do you feel after watching your group last inning and the way they were able to put together some hits?
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously been prepping for Pickens all week, and we had a good game plan, and it was nice to see kind of that game plan go into place last inning.
Coach, it almost felt like that collective exhale from Reeves in the circle, those last 2 Ks, figuring something out. Can you give us some insight on that conversation you had with her in that circle?
Yeah, I just told her to be her. Just pretend like we're at practice, just throwing to our batters, and to trust her stuff, trust the process, and hit her spots. You know, some of those hits kind of came on some plated pitches, and you know, hitters of their caliber are gonna hit those balls hard. So she's just got to stick to her game plan, hit her spots, and obviously her changeup was going. So when she has her changeup going, she's pretty successful.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate the time.
Thanks. Love and honor.
You think about Reeves, one of 3 returning starters on this team. We talked about the turnover that this group has had, 14 players when Coach Gardner Colgate took over the program, and what they've done is meet the standard of Miami softball. And Reeves now having some time to decompress in hopes that our offense can continue on with what they did last inning. Got a couple of singles off the bats of Carter and Golombowski before grounding into the double play to end the inning. Danitza Hernandez, junior out of Chandler, Arizona, the 9-hole hitter, leads it off for the Red Hawks. And thinking about this group, I mean, there were some folks who counted out the Red Hawks because they had so many players graduate or move on. Kiran Kumar, who was the head coach for 4 seasons, now in this regional, but with Ohio State. And so you welcome in a new coach, several new players.
I mean, they lost 7 of their 9 starters last year. So I completely agree with you. I think that this team has really exceeded a ton of expectations. What that head coach right there has done with this group is pretty remarkable. And a very player-led program. These seniors stepping up, taking it by the reins. Another K here for Carlin Pickens going upstairs, a check swing. Hernandez unable to hold that barrel back.
5 Ks on the afternoon for Pickens. Back to the top of the order with Shelby Kunkel, but to finish off that point, Aaron.
Yeah, I think too, talking to head coach Colgate Gardner, was that nothing was given to this program. Everything was earned. They don't have a ton of resources, but they have enough. We have enough resources to produce All-Americans, to make a postseason run. Miami expects excellence. Phenomenal education at this program, a top-tier experience, and she was just exuding so much pride in talking about what this team has accomplished.
When you saw that graphic pop up, I mean, there was a point where they were 5-13 on the season, and it goes back to what you said earlier of how she described not the offense. You can say it of the team, right? There's a grittiness, there's a scrappiness to this group, because then they go on an impressive run, 19-2, to work their way into position to earn another opportunity to go for a MAC championship, winning their 4th, but going upstairs and trying to chase that one, can't catch up to it, and Kunkel swings away and is retired.
Well, that's the 6K, and now this is the 2nd time through the order for Miami. This is where things are going to have to shift at the plate for the Red Hawks. Take a different approach, shorten up those swings. I keep talking about swing path, but it really is the adjustment that has to be made against Pickens. Easier said than done, I can tell you that much. I'm up here talking about it, but it is a tough adjustment that you have to make to get that front foot down early, be on time.
Kaleo, who struck out looking her first time up, is hopeful to extend her 10-game on base streak. Currently ahead of the count, 2-0 now, 2-1. Think about the challenge of kind of the new wave of softball, where you've got to kind of insert yourself and get comfortable with a lot of new people very quickly. The Red Hawks have been successful in doing that.
Well, we talked about the standard, too, of Miami. I mean, they've won that MAC regular season title since 2019, tournament champs since 2022. Had to beat Ohio twice to win the title this year in the tournament.
And the roller over to Panel, and 3 up, 3 down for the Red. And one of the fun things about getting to know these players and just hearing some of their background and stories, I always love nicknames. You know, nicknames are crucial, they're critical. So it could be Tea Time, tell me which one you like, Tea Time, TP3, or Panel Power.
Panel Power,
Panel Power.
Easy decision for me.
She's bought the power this season, to your point, leading Tennessee with 15 bombs this season. One-two count, and laces it in and lines it out to center field, 1 away. Well, the final week of the SEC baseball regular season, we've got 3 more of the biggest games on the SEC network. Tonight, 6th ranked Auburn and Ole Miss square off at 8 Eastern. Then tomorrow, it's 10th ranked Georgia hosting Texas A&M, followed by a top 20 matchup between Tennessee and Arkansas. Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, and Arkansas all battling for that top 4 seed in next week's SEC baseball tournament. Sophia Nugent,
senior transfer from Oklahoma, won a couple titles with the Sooners. And I think it's interesting because Karen Weekly actually recruited this young woman, 8th and 9th grade, took a visit here at Tennessee, ended up going to Oklahoma, but found her way back to Knoxville.
And that one is lasered into left field. Oh, had some trouble coming up with it. And Nugent is at second base. And only 1 down.
A heck of a swing from just a tremendous athlete at the plate. So much power offensively from Nugent. This is what sticks out to me, Tiff, though, is the fact that Kylie O in left field, unable to cut that ball off. And I think if she keeps that ball off the wall in left, she maybe holds Sophia Nugent to a very long single as opposed to standing in scoring position.
9th double of the season for Nugent. Amanda Allen coming in as the pinch runner.
I'm such a stickler on outfield play.
Yeah.
I've really learned that about myself this season, is I love to pick apart swings, I love to analyze swing mechanics, but that last line of defense is so important. We've talked about the details, the importance of the sacrifice bunt, moving runners 60 feet, but that is just as important, giving up 60 feet by not keeping a ball off the wall.
And you've got every right to talk about it.
Spoken like a true outfielder, right?
Spoken like a true outfielder indeed. We were Big 12 Player of the Year for the Sooners in your senior campaign. You also bookended your career with the national championship the way like you started your career for Patty Gasso's Sooners. Boo Gibson, who cracked a solo shot, put up the first run of the game, swings through that one. It's now 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Reeves still carving it up with that off-speed pitch. 1-2 with Madeline Reeves still trying to find her flow in the circle. I mean, competing against a very tough offensive Tennessee, you want to see and need that defense behind you to put their best foot forward. This is an offense-heavy regional. We've talked about it preparing all week long for this site. You've got the best arm in the nation in Carlin Pickens facing Ohio State, the home run leading squad in the nation, 103 bombs on the year. They also lead in walks, lead on base.
And that one in the dirt. Ball 4, and Gibson second time on base safely. And when you compare the numbers for the long ball in this regional to others, it pales.
It's not even close.
It's not close.
Not even close. I mean, you and I both. I think it's easy to get fixated on the speed of one arm, but when you really zoom out and take an inventory of all the talent in Knoxville, the long ball takes the title. There's a lot of pop.
And so you think about the Kiran Kumar effect, I think you dubbed it. 137 home runs for her Ohio State Buckeyes this season. Last year when she was leading Miami of Ohio, they had 160 home runs, and interestingly enough, one of the best home run hitters all time. Carly Spade serves as an assistant for now the Tennessee Lady Vols. So a number of connections here. And these teams are all intertwined together. And you got to think, North Carolina making their first regional appearance since 2019 under second-year head coach Megan Smith-Lyon.
That's one of the hardest hacks I've seen against that off-speed of Reeves. There's Carly Spade hanging in the dugout.
Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, hey.
Yeah. Second all-time in NCAA career home runs, but behind Jocelyn Allo, the home run queen, and Carly Spade was a bad girl. Whew, bad woman.
Could she swing it?
And just to further that point, I mean, first player ever
Wow.
in Red Hawk softball history to have her jersey retired. And that was one of the nice things that we heard from Gardner Colgate, as that one gets past the catcher Campbell behind the plate, and the pinch runner Zoe Schuler advances 60 feet closer to home.
Oh.
Correction, Allen. That's Amanda Allen there.
It's a really good slide around third base. There's an art form to sliding, knowing the direction, going around the bag, sneaking that hand in behind the tag. And right now, Reeves kind of digging herself into a challenge here.
Back-to-back walks given up by Reeves. And second inning in a row that Tennessee has had the bases loaded. And Emma Clark, her first time up, had an RBI double.
Designated player number 13, Emma Clark.
So can she continue to tack on some more runs here for the Lady Vols? Only one out here. And when we asked Reeves about her mindset and getting into jams like this, she says, hey, I actually really like performing under pressure. It's one of the things that I've learned about myself, but in the process, you talked about that short memory that she has to have.
She said there's even times where her coaching staff will ask her, where was that pitch located? Where did you just throw the ball? And she can't answer it. She's like, I've already forgotten. I've already moved on.
And this one in foul territory, playable, and Ella Carter couldn't track it down on that first baseline near their dugout.
And these are those plays. You've got an entire dugout of teammates needing some communication there, helping her find that wall, helping her find that netting. I mean, that is a catchable play right there.
Instead, that one's roped down third, and here we go. Emma Clark doing it again. RBI double. This time it drives into 3 ribbies on the afternoon for Emma Clark, the DP.
Have a day, Emma Clark. I mean, this freshman has just absolutely taken charge at the plate in game 1 of this regional. I would be dancing too at second base. A little shimmy for the RBI day. 3 RBIs so far for the freshman Emma Clark.
Representing Cleveland, North Carolina exceptionally well. Well, the threat's still on. 2 players in scoring position. Gabby Leach back at the plate, walked her first time up. And when you come into a weekend like this is an incredible, or an entirely new season, right? You've got non-conference, then you've got the conference season and the tournament. They said, hey, we shut off what we had in SEC tournament. Gabby Leach is like, yeah, this is the offense that you should come to expect when you watch Tennessee. A 3-run bomb over the right field wall. Take a picture, ladies and gentlemen. Lady Vols up 7-0.
That is just the 6th home run off the bat of Gabby Leach this season. And what feels like the floodgates busting open off the bat of the 8-hole. I mean, when you look at this starting lineup, 1 through 9, Tiffany, it has been the lower quadrant of this order that has really risen to the occasion for Tennessee. An offense that has struggled this year, specifically late in SEC play, and stepping up in a massive way here in game 1.
Well, that's going to force a pitching change in the circle for the Red Hawks. The afternoon done for Reeves. Meanwhile, the reaction here from the Lady Vols, the dodge. And the afternoon done, and an emotional sophomore, Madeline Reeves, who started off this game. And you know how much this means to these players. And she started out good, and then things kind of spiraled down, but she's gonna have another opportunity, a double elimination weekend. If you can look at the way that Tennessee has been able to swing the bat and have success. I mean, you pointed out earlier just how the bottom of the order has been so productive as Ella Dodge is retired. 6, 7, and 8 today, Aaron. They've gone 4 for 4, produced 6 RBI for the Lady Vols.
You know, I've covered Tennessee a few times this season at different points in the season, and I believe that the offense was an area that Karen Weekly was really wanting to see some elevation. She wanted this offense to step into the box and not feel like the weight of the world was on their shoulders. And at times it has felt like this team has carried that pressure at the plate. You got one of the best arms in the nation, and this team feeling like they really needed to support her in that way. And she wanted freedom at the plate, and it feels like they've been able to tap into that today.
And among the conversations we've had with coaches throughout the SEC, and it was underscored by Karen Weekly, hey, look, we're tested each week in the SEC. And she was appreciative of the difficult schedule that they face throughout conference play, because she's like, hey, when we get to this point of the year, there isn't anything that we haven't seen, and we know exactly how to attack in all situations.
Well, Chevy in the circle is what they call her. Junior arm. And she's going to have to bring something different. And it is a different look than what we saw from Madeline Reeves. But throwing a collegiate, her first collegiate no-hitter, an elimination game on May 9th against Ball State. A lot of good movement out of this arm, late break in the zone, just a lot of dance on her drop ball, her curve ball, just hammers hard at the knees. This is a different look than Madeline Reeves.
She had success in that Mid-American Conference tournament, going 2-0, registered a couple of complete game shutouts. Coming over in her first season with the Red Hawks after starting out winning a JUCO title with Florida Southwestern State. And not able to handle the hop off the bat of Fiedler. And she's in at second base, so Ella Carter has had a couple of opportunities, but that one sharply hit her way. And Fiedler is now at second.
Has some speed at the top of the order for Fiedler. She sees where this ball's located, the corner of right field. Unable to field it at first is Carter, and takes the extra 60 feet. I mean, that's heads up, aggressive base running. And Tennessee just continuing to put the foot on the gas.
Well, this is a Tennessee Lady Vol program. We talked about the proud history that they have. Hoping to complete the weekend and vie for their 14th Super Regional appearances. If they're able to get through the weekend, and Savannah Morgan struck out her last time up, laid down the sack bunt in her first AB. And when you think about just the way Tennessee has gotten some production throughout the year from their freshmen, and this afternoon we have seen it. Karen Weekly continues to stack talent on talent year over year. Remember, the first 19 seasons of her stint here were spent with her husband Ralph Weekly. They were co-head coaches, and since taking the reins solo, since he retired, the success that they have seen under Karen Weekly, they just continue to meet and exceed the standard.
Ralph's still around.
Oh yeah, he is. Very much so.
He's still in the air. It is so cool to see their relationship. A lot of support for each other, a lot of excellence, a lot of tradition. Last time I was here was when Tennessee faced Mississippi State. It was alumni weekend. There was a lot of Tennessee alumni. This is a fantastic program that pours a lot into that alumni relationship. Ralph came up to the booth, tapped on Chucky and I, said hello, and we had our coaches interview with Karen that next inning. And I told Karen that Ralph came by and said hi. She goes, well, tell Ralph I love him. So there's still just a fantastic support and connection between Karen and Ralph.
Taylor Panel searching for her first hit of the ball game.
Second at bat of the inning. And we've gone all the way around the lineup now.
The inning started with Panel lining out to center field. Aaron Miller, Tiffany Green here with you. And folks, if you didn't hear at the start of the broadcast, Aaron gave you a heads up. There's a lot of power in this regional. Star power in the circle for the Tennessee Lady Vols, but they are certainly helping the efforts of Carlin Pickens with putting up 7 runs in that one. The wild pitch getting past McKenna Campbell, and taking a look right now, North Carolina, Ohio State due up next. The winner of this one will advance through the winner's bracket, and obviously a double elimination weekend, all vying for an opportunity and spot in the regional final Sunday. Potential to see as many as 7 games throughout the weekend. This Panel with the 2-out walk to load the bases.
Coach Gardner, Colgate coming out to have another word. Where do you go from here if you're Miami? I think this is the question. They've got Shelby Krieger, another freshman on this staff, but has not seen a lot of innings. The majority of the work in the circle has been from Madeline Reeves, 243 innings coming into this game, and Chevy in the circle, 124 innings carried between those two arms. Those have been the workhorses for this staff. That's the freshman right there in the pen, Shelby Krieger.
Let's see how Chevy responds after that meeting. Also some activity for Tennessee. That's Sage Marjecko.
Yeah, you got to imagine maybe Tennessee possibly making a change in the circle, a 7-run lead. approaching run rule territory here. Again, an 8-run deficit after 5 if it holds.
The catcher, number 7, Sophia Nugent.
Maybe get Pickens a little bit extra rest.
Here's Nugent, 8 of the 9 balls in the starting lineup have reached base safely so far in this game. Nugent doubled. And around the score, and so you don't want to look too far ahead, but if chalk holds, Tennessee were to advance out of this regional this weekend, the winner of our Knoxville regional would face off against the winner of the Baton Rouge regional. And that one hits Nugent on the leg. And so another runner will come around the score after the hit by pitch.
And that now officially pulls us into run rule territory. The hit by pitch scores the 8th run for Tennessee, right off the kneecap.
I want to go back because, again, a lot has to play out this weekend, but you've got Nebraska, LSU. That also has a lot of interest around. You've got Jordy Ball, pitcher and player of the year for the Huskers. Fantastic freshman for LSU, and Tori Edwards. Boo Gibson, who is in the career ranks with the Lady Vols, and she's tied with our very own Madison Shipman.
First time.
The 3-time All-Americans here, and one of the best players to ever suit up for Tennessee. A fantastic company, Lauren Gibson, Megan Gregg, and how about Kiki Malloy, boy. Was she ever impressive in all phases of the game, an outstanding human being, student athlete.
Boo Gibson, there's so much power at the plate. Mentioned just the patience, the fluidity of her swing.
And another run comes in on the free pass.
Her second walk of the inning. Homered in the second, took 2 walks here in the third.
And Chevrier just wants to record the final out to get out of the inning after being held scoreless in the first frame. Tennessee put up 2 in the second. And currently 7th spot here in the third.
You know, I talked about the support of the defense and helping out Miami, helping out the pitchers in the circle, just trying to keep the ball off the walls, make routine plays, really provide some athletic defense, support these arms.
And Mueller sends this one in and out of the park and to right. Grand slam, 3rd of the season for the Tennessee Lady Vols.
As much as you need your defense to help support you in the circle, you can't defend the walk and you can't defend the home run. I mean, Tennessee has applied pressure from all angles. The walks, the sacrifice bunts, the long balls, doubles, singles. There's not a single thing that this team didn't come prepared and ready to put on display and use. I mean, they look like a complete team here in game one.
And Chevy heads to the dugout. We'll tell you about the new pitcher for Miami when we come back.
Here in perspective for the freshman in the circle. Krieger comes in with 18 innings thrown compared to the 243 of Madeline Reeves, the first arm we saw from Miami. The 124 innings thrown by Chevy, the junior, the second arm we've seen. And now a freshman having to step into the circle with 18 innings of experience and 13 runs up on the board for Tennessee.
Well, a wonderful opportunity for the youngster to come in and get NCAA tournament experience in her first ever regional. And then looking at the pitching staff, I mean, there are young pieces that Coach Gardner Colgate has to work with, you know, for the future Red Hawk teams. And so Krieger now stands in. And McClark now trying to battle in with her as well.
Well, if I'm Krieger too, I got nobody on base. No reason for me not to go straight at the strike zone against the freshman in McClark. We've seen some off-speed pitches, mid-60s, 55 miles an hour, making the ball move, that curveball in the outer half of the plate. You got nothing to lose here. If you're freshman in the circle, you got nothing to lose. No reason to just all you got through the strike zone.
Fouled off once more from Clark. Full count, freshman v. freshman. Ryder steps off, takes her time, regathers, and delivers the pitch. And a good AB from Emma Clark. Clark sends this one into left, and that's the third out of the inning. 11 runs in the third inning here for Tennessee. And what's the reward for a grand slam? Well, folks, you get a hat for the Lady Vols. They're up 13. To the circle for the Lady Vols.
A lot more movement. She's got the rise ball, she's got the drop ball, but she honestly can hit all quadrants. In talking to Karen Weekly early this year, she said when Marjeko is her best is when she really just throws the hands to the wind and just pitches. I mean, with nothing held back. That is when she is brilliant to watch. Easier said than done. There's no way I could have been a pitcher. No way. The mental fortitude it takes to step on that rubber and hold that ball in your hand every single play. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to carry out there.
The sophomore transferred in from South Carolina a season ago. Karen Weekly has made reference that, hey, Marjeko kind of reminds her of another great All-American pitcher that she saw suit up for Tennessee, and Ellen Renfro. She's got all the tools, just about the way you talked about. She can move the ball in different zones, throw different pitches in the process.
You know, this season she really leaned into challenging herself to develop the drop ball. Wanted a tighter break, wanted to increase that fall off the table and have that ball move a little bit more late in the strike zone.
And the first batter retired here in the top of the fourth, as Parks is now 0 for 2 this afternoon.
The catcher, 0-0, McKenna Campbell.
That's low in the dirt. Sophia Nugent has to get some love and credit behind the plate as well, because when you think about catching the heat of a Carlin Pickens, and then things kind of change up when Sage Marjeko comes into the ball game. Just talk about that type of adjustment for receiving the ball.
This was another journey, I think, similar to Laura Mueller, who steps into this program, and in year one for Tennessee had to allow herself to believe that she was strong enough to play here.
Well, Jackie Kirkpatrick snuck in there behind the dish, and Nugent now moves to DP, so some defensive changes in the lineup. As Marjeko registers her first strikeout, now 2 away.
The first baseman,
I think
number
the
87,
impact,
Ella
though,
Carter.
carries across from Kirkpatrick and Nugent. The battery of this Tennessee team has really been at the forefront of their strength all year long, where their offense has struggled at times. It has been the connection between Sophia Nugent, Carlin Pickens, now Marjeko and Kirkpatrick behind the plate. This has been airtight for this team. I mean, this really has been that pillar for the Lady Vols all season long.
Ella Carter sneaks that one through, the 2-out base hit for Carter. She's 2 for 2 today with a couple of singles. Well, don't miss a moment of the action from the NCAA softball regionals. We'll take you to the best live action on the 7 innings live show on the ESPN app. You can see every game and every big moment on the road to the Women's College World Series, only on the ESPN networks. So much parody, mayhem in store for us. First day of regionals around several sites. Got 14 teams out of the SEC, as we mentioned. Texas A&M leading the way. Let's see what happens for a Clemson team winning their first ever ACC tournament title. Remember, Duke went to the Women's College World Series for the first time a season ago. They both have national seeds. We've got North Carolina in our regional. We'll see them next as the Tar Heels face off against Ohio State, boasting a 40-plus win season under a first-year head coach. And Marjeko does her job. Couple of strikeouts as Jackie Kirkpatrick, her first at-bat since March 1st. Just her 3rd of the season. Remember, she's now behind the plate. And haven't you loved the golden ticket and handing out
It's
just
really
players the opportunity to further their career?
It's really special, too, I think, that moment on the college landscape, the college stage. It's been really cool to see some alumni, some big icons in the sport of softball deliver that golden ticket, but it bridges that gap, right, between the fan bases. If you've got a stadium full of just softball-obsessed fans that now will hopefully transfer over to the pro landscape.
Kirkpatrick strikes out swinging. And I go back to also just when you watch the content and the videos of when it's handed over, how emotional it is. One that stands out to me is Michaela Edenfield.
Yeah.
And just the way that she has been an emotional leader for the Florida State Seminoles. Now she gets that beautiful opportunity after this season to continue going. Hey, look, the Seminoles, long-standing history, number 5 overall seed currently. Michaela Edenfield is one of those players that sticks out in your mind that you just attach to when you watch her play.
She's easy to love.
Yes.
Easy to cheer for. Another one of those emotional moments was Bree Ellis. Their home turf, and she immediately was surrounded by hugs and support of the teammates and just a lot of celebration for her talent this year. She's also a Player of the Year finalist. I would be shocked if she doesn't walk away with that honor. I mean, what an unbelievable season she has had at the plate for Arkansas.
SEC Player of the Year, 26 home runs, tied for an SEC single season record, second in D1. I mean, like,
yeah,
Bree Ellis.
She's the real deal.
She's the real deal. Shout out to the Razorbacks for their highest national seed. As this one grounded over, not handled by Parks at second base. And Dodge is aboard safely.
This is part of that defensive support right now for Miami. Finally, Krieger, freshman, settling in. Gets the strikeout to start this inning in what should be a routine second out. Your veteran, right? Your leader in Chloe Parks, very uncharacteristic for her at second base, bobbles that ball.
Pinch hitter Katie Taylor now at the plate. A senior out of Newman, Georgia.
Number 1, Katie Taylor.
In the leadoff spot, and Taylor, 9 hits on the season. This one bobbled by Campbell, and wisely taking second base is Dodge. She's in scoring position. But it goes back to, I mean, when you just look around all the different regional sites, we came on the air talking about so many storylines. Okay, so Bree Ellis, second, behind who? Virginia Tech's Corey McMillan. She leads the nation in home runs, and then the power to power, because also in that Tuscaloosa regional is Belmont pitcher Maya Johnson, who's the nation's leader in strikeouts. That's gonna be fun.
There's a lot of really good storylines, and they're only going to continue to get juicier. I think that Arkansas regional is going to be one to watch too. Oklahoma State heading to Fayetteville. The Cowgirls hitting some hiccups earlier this season, but that's a postseason team, a team that has set a standard to make it to the Women's College World Series. They don't host this year. They go on the road to face the Razorbacks, but I just know there's something brewing for OSU.
Coming up next, our softball regional triple header continues with the number 1 seeded Texas A&M Aggies hosting St. Francis of Pennsylvania in College Station. And finally, we've got 10th seeded LSU hosting Southeast Louisiana in Baton Rouge here in Tiger Park. And a base hit and another run scored. This went off the bat of Savia Morgan. Season high in runs for this Tennessee team. And you hear Rocky Top playing in the back. tried to come in after that one, nearly got away from Campbell, and it's Katie Taylor who was tagged at home plate. So the aggressive base running sees Taylor tagged there, the helmet head area.
It's a good heads-up play by Campbell. I mean, seeing that ball, blocking that ball, coming back for the tag, that requires a lot of communication from your infield and just knowing where your body is in space on not your home turf, right? Having to understand where she is on this dirt.
Take it all the way, call for strike, 3 balls and a strike now. It's a panel. And the pitch on the way from Krieger. And just thinking back to your emotions and what it felt like to play in the NCAA tournament, how hyped you were as a freshman coming in, and then more of the expectations that mount over the years for a player like Sophia Nugent. Take me through that range of emotions.
There's nothing like this experience. There's nothing like this stage, this environment. And as you advance further and further into the tournament, the energy, just the electric nature of the NCAA postseason continues to get more visceral. I can't even describe what it's like to step out onto a field. For most of these young women, school's over with. Heck, Miami finished finals yesterday, some of them finishing final projects just last night. There's nothing like that, to just play with only ball on the brain.
It's graduation weekend here in Knoxville. And Nugent sends that one sailing deep and gone over the left field wall. And a little train passing by in the process. A little choo-choo. She chugged it out of here. 4 home runs today, a season best for the Lady Vols.
The train horn was right on cue. What a day for Tennessee, a team that has at times been quiet at the plate, specifically late through SEC play, and has made a ton of noise offensively to start off this regional.
And what's crazy is we've got the nation's best team in home runs coming up next with Ohio State.
And we've already seen 4 today from Tennessee.
This is just an appetizer as the Buckeyes will face off against North Carolina. Tar Heels lead the series overall. They've met a couple of times here in Knoxville in that 2019 regional. And the fly out to right, that ends the inning. And now Miami of Ohio, their final 3 outs in this opening game on the other side. From Knoxville in this regional round, Aaron Miller, Tiffany Green here with you as Tennessee took command in that 2nd inning and has not looked back. We saw a great outing from Carlin Pickens in the circle. She had a short afternoon. And we are within run rule territory, so these are the final 3 outs for the Miami of Ohio Redhawks as Holly Merritt, the freshman, is retired. 1 down.
You got to be happy if you're Karen Weekly on all fronts here. Defense has looked solid. Pickens able to get some reps in the circle, just enough to dip her toe into a little bit of regional play. Marjeko stepping in to get some airtime on the mound. But more than anything, your offense. I mean, cleaning out the pipes, my goodness, letting it go. 4 home runs, an 11-run third inning.
10 hits in total for this Tennessee team. And again, you kind of go back, the last sample size of work that we saw from the Lady Vols. They had a midweek game against the eventual ACC tournament champion Clemson. And after falling then, they were trying to regain their footing throughout, and they were limited to just under 3 runs a game. But no signs of that here on this Friday afternoon. This one lifted into center field. And Fiedler calling for it. 2 away.
Shortstop, number 88, Luisa Hernandez.
Just thinking about the importance of winning that first game.
That was always the message back when I played at Oklahoma, was get the first one and stick it in the back pocket. As long as you can take that first dub, your road ahead start to feel a little, not easier, but just you're able to find a little bit more breathing room.
(19-2) in tournament openers for Tennessee. They've won 11 straight. Interestingly enough, their last loss came against Miami of Ohio in the 2012 regional. They're not going to replay that here. They go on to win that regional and advance to the Women's College World Series. And Karen Weekly is hopeful that the way that her group is performing now in this NCAA tournament will continue to carry through the next couple of weeks, potentially make a return trip to the Women's College World Series like they did a couple of seasons ago.
Even the fans have the box.
Oh my goodness, it's contagious.
I need that hat.
Lady Vol Loco fans also are quite contagious as well. Love them sporting all kinds of different outfits, gear, and Hernandez turns away at that one. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Very good crowd on hand, considering again it's graduation weekend. University of Tennessee loves themselves some softball.
This is a softball town, I can tell you that much. Beautiful weather this weekend, mid-80s, sun shining. We had some cloud cover earlier today, good breeze.
She go around, no, and Hernandez now with the 2-out walk. And we're going to continue to produce that good juju throughout. Right, Aaron?
That's exactly it. We're doing the rain dance up here. We want no weather delays. We're going to send that juju out into the entire U.S.
Yes.
We want no weather across any 16 sites.
Swing and miss there from Shelby Kunkel.
Right fielder, number 17, Shelby Conkle.
Grounder over to Dodge, and that ends the game. 19th run rule win in the NCAA tournament for the Tennessee Lady Vols. A commanding opening game win here from the Knoxville Regional. Most runs scored in an NCAA tournament game. That's 17. Time for second most in an NCAA tournament by an SEC team. And the way